You just ate. You just ate. You just got food. You just got wet food. What could you need? I mean, I usually wait a little bit before I give you your dry food. And yet you know exactly where it is, and you're wondering if it's time. It's not yet time. Hello and welcome to Thursday. I've continued on the straight and narrow, both in getting a lot of work done and then also getting to bed on time. Things have been good. We've been waking up in the AM. We've been going to bed in the PM. Mostly. There's been a few nights where we kind of got into 1, maybe 2 a.m., but we're still getting up in the AM, and I'm happy about that. Most of the days we have been up at 8 a.m. Or 9 a.m. At the latest. There's been a few days where we haven't, but all in all, the past week has gone good. Besides doing work, we're still trying to put the house together. The clock is ticking for Alex and Haley to get here, and we built a third shelf back here 2 or 3 days ago. I don't think I've shown that on camera yet, although my mind is gone, so I might have. But we just finished building a fourth shelf, so check it out. 4 shelves! Oh yeah! I'm pretty excited. Honestly, at this point in time, we only really need we only really need 3. And what I mean by that is we have, as far as I can tell, every disc-based game that we own on a shelf. So that's original Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS Vita, PS2, PS3, PS4, PSP, Player's Guides, Wii. These 2 rows are GameCube. This is friggin' everything. Wii U. What was that? Saturn, Sega CD 32X, Sega CD, Sega Genesis. There's some NES stuff, Super Nintendo, and N64. That is all the stuff that is boxed. And when I say that's all our disc-based games, I mean that. That's all our disc-based games, except for a few loose ones I haven't had time to put into an actual box. But the thing is, we have a lot of loose carts, which is what that shelf has become used for. So these are all of our loose carts. And as far as I can tell, this is every video game that I actually own in one room, not counting PC games, digital or physical. I actually have a lot of physical PC games I wasn't aware of. A lot of them are stashed at my parents' house. I don't know. But this is, I believe, every single physical game that I own in one room. When we last looked at the total, I think it was nearing 2,000. There's a lot of video games in here. And I've said it before, but a lot of them were sent from you guys. A lot of you have contributed to our collection, and I'm eternally grateful for that. However, even though it seems like we have a lot of room in here, and we do, we have one more bookshelf that's going to go up here. Once it's all boxed, once the carts are in these universal media cases, that's when I'm starting to wonder. So, for example, this shelf, we don't have an extra shelf on here yet, but when we do, there will be 8 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In each single row, you can put 30 of these universal game cases. So 30 in each row times 8 is 240. So hypothetically, this can hold 240 games. Now, if it was just loose carts, God, it could hold a lot more. Could probably hold 1,000 N64 games or more. But if you're putting them in boxes, which is what I want to do, so they'll look like that, it'll hold 240, which is a problem because there are 296 something N64 games. So in order to fully fit N64, which we have all of them. Earlier this year we finished N64, so we have every cart of N64 North American release. That means it's going to take up one entire shelf, and then also however many, like 1.5 or something, more shelves. So, you know, that, even though it looks like you have a lot, by the time you get all of N64 done and you start doing some of these other ones, I mean, you can see there's a lot of Super Nintendo there. Once you start doing all those, then it just starts to become a bit of an issue. Now, N64 I'm definitely going to do because we completed it and I want to display that. I think that that's a big accomplishment. I'm very happy that we were able to do that. But, you know, I've started to worry. I'm like, oh crap, and how much room are we actually going to have once we get everything on here? We've decided that what we're going to do is, a long time ago, people that have been watching the vlog for a long time will know that what we wanted to do was, box the games, print out the covers and things like that. And then we ran into some problems, mostly with the fact that we ran out of the room too quickly. At our old place, this shelf was all we had. And looking at it now, it almost seems humorous that that's all we have, because we filled up, pretty much 3 entire giant bookcases, and we were only working with that thing. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to box them ourselves, and I've realized since then that our printer, that is literally 10 years old, I don't know how it survived 10 years, but that printer is 10 years old, is not going to cut it. So what we've decided to do is that early next year, probably shortly after we get into January, we're going to buy a printer, and we're going to buy nice paper, which is one of the mistakes I made before. You have to have nice paper. And we're going to start printing out all the covers for N64. That's going to be our first project. And hopefully, sometime in the very near future, we will have every single N64 game boxed back here. I think that'll be really cool. So yeah, that's where we are. As far as what's left for this room, obviously another shelf. And once again, even though it looks bare, once we get all these games, they're going to take up an entire shelf in and of itself. So that's got to be done. I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but I bought a mounting rack for one of my monitors. So the monitor on the right is actually going to sit above the monitor on the left, and that will free up that space for the laptop to go. So then I can use the laptop as a screen, and whenever I need to leave for a trip or something, just take that out and I'm good to go. So we have the mounting rack. It was really cheap on Amazon, highly rated, just haven't installed it yet, so that's going to be an adventure, I'm sure. But once that's done, it's just putting up art in the room, and then we'll be good. It's just really nice to see this all come together. Having a game room is something that I wanted when we moved into our old apartment. And, I was super excited we were going to make it happen, and then I quickly realized it wasn't going to happen. And by the time we moved out, it was a junk room. And that's not going to happen in here, because this is also our workspace. This is going to have to stay clear, because this is where we do recording. So at least I know that it'll be okay. But at the same time, it's just really nice to have this, to have everything set up. It's nice to finally see this come together. This is the kind of thing that you dream about as a kid, and to actually see it on the walls is just really exciting. Anyway, that's the update. I don't know when we're going to get the next shelf up, but it's going to be within the next 12 days, so stay on the lookout. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?